go, great, yeah!
What are you guys ready to get robbing the people? No?
Can't hear you.
Check one, check two. Can you hear me, everybody? Oh, yeah, you guys get ready for robbing the people. Hell yeah, please welcome your host, the one and only Rob Morris.
Woo! What's up, motherfuckers? All right. We're doing pretty good in North Hollywood tonight. Hell yes. I am such a big fan of this place because we make 6 people sound like 7 people. It is like impressive. That's what Fourth Wall does best. Thank you guys so much for being here for this new episode of Robbing the People. We're at episode number 11, which is crazy to me that we've managed to pull this off this many times. I don't know if you even want to call it that. But it's been a blast doing this show. If you are watching on the live stream at home or if you're checking this out on YouTube, I gotta say all that boring shit, you know, like, subscribe, but please seriously do it because we need attention and love and we have to go to sleep feeling like someone cares about us. So please fucking subscribe, like, Fourth Wall TV, watch all that shit. Cool, that's done. Let's talk about this fucking show, shall we? Yeah, right? I feel like the world has been upside down for 2 years, but it reached a fun pinnacle for me personally. Ann Coulter said this week that the only national emergency is that our president is an idiot. Yeah? Are we, okay, cool. We don't agree with that here. We're very pro-Trump in this crowd, which is fine. We want all walks of life at this show. But to give him credit, Trump said that he would bring together the most extreme sides of the country, and here I am agreeing with Ann Coulter. So something's happening. He's pulling something off. In El Paso, Donald Trump Jr. said, the left would rather see America fail than to see it succeed with Donald Trump at the helm. This is the most ridiculous thing. I've heard this the whole time he's been president. That's like saying the Allies would rather watch Germany fail than see it succeed with Hitler at the helm. Fucking yeah, 100%. His Germany needs to fucking fail. Oh my God. He just wanted to do this because emergency sounds fun and serious. That's what I think. I think it just sounds like a fun thing to do, you know? And now that he's done it once, you know he's going to do it again. As soon as he finds a loophole, he utilizes it as many times as he can. We're going to have someone specifically assigned to going to Donald Trump and saying, all right, look, no, you can't declare that a national emergency. No, it's not a national emergency that Wendy's doesn't have a fish fillet, okay? That's not doesn't count. Well, because McDonald's has one. Okay, all right, fine. Fucking just let him have it. Sometimes you gotta fucking let him have it. During his address in the Rose Garden, he received, I would call it reasonable criticism, when he declared a national emergency and then immediately said, I didn't have to do this. Right? I didn't have to do this. Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree with you, dude. In fact, I agree with that across the whole thing. I think that might be a good slogan for his presidency, if we're being honest. We didn't have to do this, you know what I mean? Ironically, this might actually cause massive problems that wouldn't exist otherwise, you know? Like, as opposed to solving a problem and creating solutions, it's, oh, well, is that an ember? Will gasoline help? Do you want me to can I help out with that? After his rambling declaration in a moment of national crisis, thank God, though, Trump got right to work, okay? We all know this, right? He immediately from the Rose Garden meeting, he walked right to the helicopter. Helicopter took him straight to Air Force One, and then he went straight to the border to, he went straight to Mar-a-Lago to play golf. Yeah, for real. That's where he is this weekend while we're all here, like, jerking each other off, talking about this fucking crazy thing and stressing about it. He's like, yeah, it's a real fucking problem. It's just so weird. It's like your dad waking you up in the middle of the night saying, yeah, so like the house is on fire, I set it, and I gotta take off. By the way, I didn't even have to do this. So I'm just... And then you get up and the house isn't even on fire and dad's gone. And you're like, I think he just wanted to leave us. There's so many other things that could qualify as a national emergency. Like that list, that's a real list of things. Like gun violence is a national emergency. Like climate change is a national emergency. Climate change doesn't qualify as a national emergency, and yet that's an actual emerging sea. I don't. No? All right. I love the shit out of that joke. And so much so that I thought, let's close the monologue with it. That's the fucking idea. Emerging C. All right. My name's in the title. A little bit of the show is for me. We have a fucking great show for you guys tonight. It's going to be wonderful. I have some awesome guests. Sasha Boggs is here. Spence Griffeth is here. And very shortly, we're going to be talking to a man named Boogiewhip. You are not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Cool. So you're saying we need tits and ass for the attention. And then as soon as this chick
so we hear that, and yet
like, look at her ass.
This is a new world where we can hear our little commercials.
If Nancy Pelosi is posting photos of her ass,
the bearer of bad news.
Are you liking
Feel
that?
free to bring up your beer. Somebody get me one if you can. That would be dope.
Yeah, beer. Did you know healthcare?
I would love that.
You know, like,
beer.
Yeah.
That might be
give me a heads up when we're coming back. You see the logo. Because I can't see the video. Thanks, bro. Oh, great. I can hear it. That's fine. All right, when we come back, guys, we're going to try a big applause like we did at the top, right? Close. I love your suit so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to say it on camera, too, but I like it a lot.
I like it,
I
too.
wear the shit out of it. I mean, not as well.
To our viewers at home, we do apologize for the fact that our mics are still on, so be cognizant of that.
I love that. You know what's crazy, Travis, is I remember us talking about the fact that you can hear us talking during the commercials, and then I still did it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fucking professional. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah! Welcome back. My first guest, oh my God. So I've seen this guy at the mics here at Fourth Wall, and I can't wait to talk to you about this. All I'll say as an introduction for this man is he was raised in a cult in Northern California, and now he does all sorts of different things. So we're going to get right into it. Boogiewhip, everybody. Let's hear a red one.
Hi.
Absolutely. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you feeling good?
Yeah. Beer, weed, you know, the whole thing.
Right. I feel like I surprised you a little bit with it being a live stream at the last minute.
That's okay. I love it when it's live.
So let's talk straight about it, man. Because one of the reasons I put all the national emergency bits in the fucking monologue, whether they worked or not. And
they didn't work.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. People supporting me. That's what I need to be surrounded by.
You're doing just fine.
Because I don't want to fucking talk about that all night. I want to talk to you about something else.
Okay.
So let's talk about this cult that you grew up in. I'm going to let you tell us what you want to tell us first. Just a little bit of the background. You know, you say something like that, I was raised in a cult, and people immediately have a bajillion questions. I'm sure some of which are not related to your mohawk and wonderful hairstyle. Tell us about it. What was that like for you? And when did it happen? When did you get out? That kind of stuff.
Well, I was up in Northern California. I was born in Oakland. And so my family is like mostly in Northern California. And my parents, we were living in a Pinole. I don't know if anybody knows Northern California. It's kind of near San Francisco. About 1995, we moved.
How old were you at the time, in 95?
I was 11 in 95. So we moved, and we to this new town. It was a small town. We didn't want to live near the city anymore, basically.
Because you get caught?
Because what?
Because you get caught?
Because you get caught in the city.
With the cult, I imagine you want some isolation, you know what I mean?
Well, no, we hadn't even gotten into the cult yet.
Oh, this was before.
I'm telling you like how we got into it.
I'm very anxious about the cult part.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting to it. So we moved to this small. What are you? Last night's erection. So we get to this fucking.
It wouldn't be the first time I was called that.
Oh well, me neither. we get to this small town, and we go to this church, and it's like this big fucking sprawling church kind of out in like middle of nowhere California. And it had I don't know why the fuck it was so big, come to think of it, but anyway, it's like I said, it's 95. We start going to this church regularly every Sunday, and it seems like a pretty regular church. You know, I kind of grew up in church anyway. I was homeschooled. My mom was my brother and my teacher. Then we move and we get to this church, and sometime, I think it was like the summertime. Actually, it was probably 1996, so we've been there for a year. We're going to this church for a year. Everything is completely normal. And then in 1996, these people from Pensacola, Florida came to our church, and they said, we want to bring you the revival.
Oh, shit.
And so they had, in Pensacola, Florida, apparently a revival had broken out. Do you know what revival?
I know what it means in the traditional sense, but I don't know if they mean it in the traditional sense.
Well, I guess I gotta build to get to.
I'll just say all I know about revivals is that Neil Diamond song, "Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Show," and he talks about everyone going out into the middle of nowhere, and the preacher is like a rock star, and he's given this whole thing, but it's all very much in the dark and at night. That's all I know.
I mean, it was basically that. Like, gotcha. Imagine like the circus coming to town,
right?
Basically, so these guys come to the church, and so long ago now, but basically, I remember we were there on a Friday night. It was a Friday night service, and all these people from Pensacola, Florida, were there, and they're talking about we were casting out demons, and we were healing the sick, and we were all this crazy stuff, and then
it's where the demons and all, that kind of
stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. And then very shortly after that, like within a couple of weeks, it just became this full-blown fucking like thing.
So like the leaders of the church you were going to, who were like, we're just going to do the normal like Jesus thing. Some other people came to town, and like a really short period of time, they were like, we're going to change this into your version of things. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fast. It's not even like they hung out for 6 months and slowly transitioned the place. That was 2 weeks, and all of a sudden. So what was the first thing So how old are you at this point?
I would have been 12.
So when you're 12, and at first it's just church, at what point were you like, this is not regular church?
Well,
or did you?
Well, I mean, the thing for me is, like I said, I was homeschooled prior to that, and I was already really sheltered.
Right.
So to me, at first, when all the weird stuff started happening, and like the weird stuff consisted of like fucking gold dust would come from the ceilings. And like we would walk around and we would have fucking like gold dust on it, and sometimes like feathers would kind of come from the ceilings too. And people are speaking in tongues. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so people like in the congregation, like suddenly somebody starts speaking in tongues.
Right, yeah.
And then they shut up, and then a few seconds pass, and then somebody else who doesn't know the person who was just speaking in tongues has to speak up and interpret.
Right, and say what God was saying.
Yeah, and so they're like, the Lord says that He's pleased. Everybody's doing a great job, or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, I'm sure you get to just make it up. It certainly didn't just happen.
Well, yeah. And so anyway, the gold dust and the feather thing, like basically.
Yeah, what is that? Someone's upstairs like dropping. What do you mean by that?
To this day I can't figure it out. But it was a big fucking building. I mean, it was probably
illusion.
like But what was insane to me. Again, I'm 12 years old, and I don't really know. I'm already homeschooled, and all I really know is like being homeschooled and then going to this
church.
What you've
been told and what you've been
shown,
right?
So it was kind of crazy. Like, I mean, for me, I just kind of believed what was going on, and at first I didn't like it, and then suddenly I was like fucking in it.
Yeah.
I was in it, and then
it's right at that age when you really want to be a part of something. Like 12, 13, that's when you're like, tell me the group I'm in so I don't have to have my own identity. You know what I mean? Like, so I totally understand. If you're going to get somebody to be a part of your non-traditional ideology, let's be generous and call it that, that's a good time to get them. So you got really into it and took it seriously for how long?
Oh my God, years. Basically at that, man, so much. basically at that time that we got involved in this, suddenly my homeschooling went away. My parents used to, they would order this curriculum. It was by Bob Jones. Do you know that name?
I don't know him.
Bob Jones, I don't know. He's like this, it's this Christian curriculum, like homeschool textbooks. That,
okay, well, my cousin actually was like Christian homeschooled, so there's a chance it was the same thing. I'm a little familiar,
So I remember I had gotten to about 4th grade before we moved to this church or whatever, and then once we got involved and the revival came, like suddenly Mom stopped teaching us.
So what were you doing with your days?
Our days basically consisted of, she was starting to get very ill.
Gotcha.
She had diabetes, and then she started to get dementia and Alzheimer's, and then all this like crazy shit started happening, and eventually like, and this kind of coincided with this revival that was starting to pop off, and the place was just getting fucking crazy.
Maybe, you know, healing from that, solutions from that? Like she put her stock in that, or was that where it was? What do you think drove her to be like, you know what, let's be a part of this thing, instead of like, let's just go back to Oakland, I'll keep teaching my kids? I mean, obviously you can guess, right? But
no, well, there's only so much I want to say about that.
Sure, no, that's fine. I don't want to push you to talk about anything you don't want.
She liked the idea of, because she came from a really old school, kind of conservative background, you know,
right.
you white, picket fence, the dog, you know, kids, this and that.
We didn't have a family, sure.
Yeah, she came from that, and I think she just liked the idea of, because she saw that my brother and I liked the church, what was going on.
Right.
Because, I mean, when it first started, it was so... It was another fucking planet. Like,
and a revival's a hell of a show.
Like,
Let's be fair. It's a show full of crazy people lying, but it's a fucking really cool show. Like, I don't know if you can watch it online, like the mega churches and stuff that do it in a less isolated way, that put it out all over the place. Damn, yeah. So I can understand, especially if you didn't grasp fully what was going on behind the scenes. You're like, I don't know. I just like, people seem to be getting healed. People are happy. It's fucking a big show every week. So yeah, what are you doing with all your time if you're not in school? Like, are you taking like Bible classes? Or are you doing something?
It was kind of a variety of things. For the most part, at some point, I don't know, I might have been like 14 and we had been in it a while. At some point it occurred to me that like, oh my God, we're not getting any actual education.
Right.
I need to do something, but it was like there was nothing that could be done. And this was the 90s, and it was like, it's kind of weird to be at an age where you can say it was a different time, but I mean, like, that affected things.
Yeah.
You know, because there was like even less access to whatever. We didn't have cable TV. We had like no real exposure to outside anything.
Right.
And so I would like, if I had money, I would buy just VHS movies. And I had this kind of thing. I had to buy like grown-up movies because my brother and I would sit them, and that was like the only way we could educate ourselves. Like I
love that you did that though, because I've met people who, for not as serious of reasons, grew up very sheltered away from like pop culture movies and stuff like that. A buddy of mine who's like, his parents were Buddhists in upstate New York. They're super chill. They just like read books or whatever. So when I met this dude when he was like 18 or 19, he had not really seen any TV shows or movies or a lot of popular music. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you, I think, went out and were like, no, fuck that. I'm going to get some of this and experience it, and so that I don't show up later in my life like not knowing what everyone's talking about.
Well, it was interesting because I mean, you know, the thing about cults is they all wind up like Lord of the Flies. It's like the shit. There's like every documentary you ever see, it all starts out kind of cool and mysterious, and then it just goes down fucking hill. And by the late night, maybe it was like 2000, we still hadn't had any education. My brother, and it was just bad. Like, my mom was losing her mind, and my dad was just kind of psychologically checked out anyway. And we were getting involved in all these fucking weird rituals, and people coming to our house and waking us up at 3 in the morning to hunt demons, and all this just fucking insane.
Sure, normal shit.
You know, yeah, normal things. Lots of mental illness. You know, again, there's still no education. There's nothing going on. And so, like, I remember sitting, like my brother and I would wake up in the morning and we would sit down and we would just like kind of keep working in our textbooks, which were like several years old at this point.
Were they like regular textbooks
about
like
they
real things, or were they like printed?
No, this was Bob Jones' curriculum, which was that had nothing to do with the cult. But I mean, we just had to keep doing because there was no fucking teaching. There was nothing.
So you took it upon yourselves to start reading the books and doing the homework and shit because you
because I mean, I at least had a 4th grade education, so it was like, well, I can help my brother try to learn how to do this. And by this time, my mom like just couldn't do fucking anything, and so we had to cook and clean. And
are you still like that, to where you feel the need to educate yourself and find more information? Like, do you still feel that kind of setback, or no? I'm not gonna judge you either way, but I'm just saying.
I have done some of the craziest fucking things to educate myself.
Do you see the way that hit me, the way you just said that? Do you see the way that affected me in my heart? Go on.
Let me talk about how I got out of this fucking circus, and then I'll tell you more about that.
Okay.
So I think it was 2000. It was the year 2000, and I was 16, 17, 16. Do you remember that movie, The Beach, with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, sure.
Okay, and there was a book too. I remember I saw the movie, and I had a moment. I just had this moment of clarity because the movie was actually about a cult at this beach, and by the end of it, paradise goes to hell.
It has some Lord of the Flies parallels.
Yeah. So I remember I was watching this movie, and as a teenager, for the first time, I suddenly oh shit, that's kind of how we are.
Oh, it was like a mirror. You're like,
it started, and then after that, I became into. I still didn't understand what a cult was, but it was like I remember I saw Eyes Wide Shut, and that became I watched it fucking all the time because I was like, because there was a lot of weird. There was a lot of kinky things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Going on behind the scenes, and the thing about the whole Jesus thing is everybody was really repressed, as most people are.
I want to clarify. You said kinky things are going on behind the scenes. Are you talking about in Eyes Wide Shut or in your cult?
In the cult.
Okay, all right. Because the first one, sure, but not so much behind the scenes as much as people fucking right in front of you. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. So that kind of stuff was going on when you were growing up. But how aware of that were you as a young child? Were you in? I don't know what you have to answer, but is that something that you were involved in?
From time to time.
Gotcha.
And it's because I never knew that I was gay back then because, again, there was no fucking education.
Right.
There was especially no sexual education. Right. And I would hear, because it was...
That's all they do.
Yeah, and Christians, I would hear them, talking, going on and on about, the Bible says put the faggots to death and blah, blah, blah. They were really big on making sure everybody talked about that shit. And then I didn't even know what that was. And then when I finally figured it out, I was like, shit, maybe it was it was such a crazy concept for me, and that's the thing. Something that always interests me when I go back and kind of watch cult documentaries and stuff is people that come from it, even after they get out, they still don't fully grasp that they were in one. A lot of times, I still have my moments where I'm like, well, maybe that's not what it was, and then whenever I feel like that, I in my closet, I have a bag of things from that life.
Sure.
And I just go back sometimes and I look at it and then I get oh fuck yeah, it was real.
Right.
That really fucking happened. So basically, we're talking about education. So what happened for me? I saw The Beach and I watched Eyes Wide Shut and I started watching these movies about groups that would just go to hell or were up to no good. I mentioned seeing kind of kinky stuff behind the scenes because I was apparently gay and didn't even know it. The other predators could kind of sniff that out around me, so I was, one of those kids that got to kind of see the behind the scenes shit.
Gotcha. Jesus Christ.
And it was, there were a lot of mothers who would get in trouble because they would mess around with underage boys.
Mothers would?
Mothers.
Okay.
And there was a lot of fathers that would get in trouble for different things too. And man, I've got a lot to talk about, man.
Well, here's the thing too. This is the problem with talking to this guy is I just get lost. I'm talking to the most beautiful, captivating person I've ever seen because I just don't stop telling me this story. I will say, because I want to get to one other thing and then we got to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. If you're down for it, I'm going to ask you on the show right now. Travis and I would love to have you on his podcast, Behind the Fourth Wall with Travis Clyburn, and the three of us can talk for a whole hour about all this crazy shit. Would you guys listen to that if you fucking had the opportunity? That's fine. We'll get other people. Thank you. So we can go on and on about the stories and stuff. I want to fast forward a little bit just to get to our last point. Mm-hmm. So you've done a lot of things to educate yourself is my favorite line from this. And what do you do now for your employment and what do you get into these days, Boogiewhip?
I do a lot of things. I'm a personal organizer, number one, which means I'm either hired to go into somebody's home and I organize all your stuff, or a hoarder has passed away and there's no next of kin and we need to go inside and find out what's crap, what's donatable, and what's worth something. I'm a graphic designer. I'm in the punk scene. I was in a punk band for a real long time. I direct and I perform in a hetero fetish porn from time to time.
Elaborate on that one, please. I love all the things you said, but please tell us more about that one thing.
I fell in. One of my best friends is a porn star, and I've known her for years. And you know, you live in. To whoever's watching us, and you might be fucking judging. Try fucking living out here, bitch. Okay. You try fucking living out here and doing the shit these people in the room have to fucking do just to survive, okay? You gotta do what the fuck you gotta do to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down, sit on your fucking hands. So, hetero fetish porn. So basically, I work in... Yeah.
What is that?
What is that? It's fucking ridiculous is what it is.
You told me something about one thing where you mentioned that a lot of the porn that you work in doesn't actually involve sex, like people don't fuck in it.
No, it's fetish porn. So
well,
it's
that
like
doesn't immediately say to me that there's no one
there's
fucking
no sex.
in it. To me, fetish porn sounds like it's just weird.
Well, we're in a new age, my boy. Everything is shifting.
It's true.
It's
so what is an example of something that you do where there's like no sex involved and you're shooting this stuff?
Clients will will make like a private video or something. We work in something called femdom, male dom, which is kind of exactly how it sounds. It's like femme dominating male or male dominating femme. So an example of a video might be, so if it's a femdom video, client or whoever hires a particular porn star, she might never actually get naked in the video, but she is dressed like a secretary because it's a spy fetish porn, and for some reason in their minds, all female spies look like secretaries. And then so basically the video will consist of she's sitting at her desk or something, and she gets a text saying, agent whatever, I need you to take out these assassins, and I need you to find, I don't know, the hard drive, some bullshit or whatever. And then basically the kind of porn or the pseudo sex, so to speak, that ensues.
The part we fast forwarded to.
Yeah, is her going through this like garden full of a bunch of henchmen, and it's usually, if I can't like hire a bunch of guys that day, it's usually me being several different henchmen, wearing wigs and glasses and hats and all this stuff.
So bad
and these girls like just come out and fucking kick me in the nuts, and it's like they're beating the shit out of these guys, and then like.
And it's you.
And it's me, or it's this guy that I hire, and then they like put us in a fucking leg chokehold, and she's like, "What's my name?" And it's like, and then they like crack our neck, and it's the corniest fucking thing, and it's even I think part of the reason they hired me is because I am gay, and so it's like every once in a while I have to like
feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like every once in a while I have to bring these dudes on set to be in this thing. And they're so fucking dumb, some of these guys. They just, no, none of you are, you're sweeties. Good for you, good for you. We're so proud of you.
You fucking love this guy so much. He's like my favorite person. Boogiewhip, thank you so much for being here and doing this, man. We're going to have you on the other show. We're going to talk about it. And for Boogiewhip, everybody. Isn't this show fucking great? I love this show, and we do a lot of fun shows here at Fourth Wall. So if you think you can do better, you should fucking try. We have an opportunity for you to do that. Do your own show. Talk to Travis Clyburn at Fourth Wall Studios. Let's take a look at what we're doing over here.
Well, I'm aroused.
All right. Dude, that was awesome. Thank you. Let's hear it again for this motherfucker. I love this guy. Turn these lights on before. We can't see the commercial. We can hear it. That's an ad for Wings of Love with Travis Clyburn, Amir Khalil, and Chris Rubio. It's an awesome show that we do here on Wednesdays.
I'm in the feed.
Watch it.
They say, okay, so
Boogiewhip, give your microphone to Spencer.
Yeah.
Spence,
So
not Spencer.
I don't believe. I think it's fucking
Spence, not
stupid. But they
Spencer.
think. Do you see those clouds that airplanes make? People think
need to get
that
the mic on.
chemicals
I know, I
being
saw
released by the
that.
government to poison us,
Those
right?
people don't realize that
That
how
was the first thing I
clouds
saw.
are made.
I love that we have this.
It's
Let's teach them how clouds are made.
Okay, let's just see how clouds are made. All right? It's going to be an educational, it's a conspiracy.
Clip this in the back, sir.
Neil, you're on fire today.
Pardon me
How
for
clouds
getting
are
up
made.
into this.
And
It's all
Thanks for
good.
wearing a belt.
Okay, good.
I know I put on real pants.
Sasha.
he woke up with
Spence.
those dreadlocks and was like, I'm gonna make a fucking song about
His brother's
chemtrails.
Michael.
Weird.
Turn off your microphone.
Yeah, dude, I like that. Yeah, okay, just
All right,
because
we're
they
pretty
can-
close. Lovely. I tie my shoe
That's
on
a
the
thing.
feet. I love that. Let's get our fucking panel up here, God.
Oh,
damn it.
yeah.
Are we back? We're back, right?
Did you
Middle,
say
yeah.
16?
Right here. Fuck yeah, let's hear it for him, everybody. Welcome back. Our very smooth transition into the panel here.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Our first panelist, you probably know from American Horror Story or Bumble, probably Bumble. So put your hands together for the very funny and lovely Miss Sasha Boggs, everybody. Let her hear it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. My next
I
guest.
thought I was.
I thought he was talking about you
I did too. I was like, yeah.
from all of our horror stories.
Yeah. Goodness, girl.
Oh,
What
I
are you
was
going to give
say, I
me?
usually see Spence on Bumble. That's where
Oh.
he and I interact.
I'm not allowed on Bumble.
My next guest, you know and love. I like to think of him as one of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan that was voted out of Neverland, Mr. Spence Griffith, everybody.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's a fetish porn right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, I would dress you up like Lost Boys all day. I think we got a sketch on our hands or a pilot or something.
Definitely. That sounds
Worth
I don't have anything. I can like hear my voice also. It's
Yeah,
really
you have to
weird.
deal
I
with
feel like
that.
I'm God of myself.
I feel like that didn't start right now, right? I feel like you have kind of a God complex generally.
More the devil, but yeah, God, yeah,
Sure.
yes.
So let's
Sorry.
get right into this as it's going.
Don't apologize for who you are.
That's true. That's true. Don't do that. This show is about
The devil rarely
authenticity.
hears that.
Spence
So
should
you're
100%
so woke,
apologize
letting
to
the
you.
devil be who he
You're touching me.
Oh, we haven't even started. I do want to point out really quick. before
Don't
we get
fucking
going
touch
on
me.
this.
Okay,
This
no.
is my personal
Let
area.
me get this going. Give me a second, and then you guys can yell at each other. I'll give you a topic to yell about. Let's start with that.
Okay.
Fucking first of all, I want to point out to everyone, since we're still working on getting him a camera, but we do have the audio of my lovely co-host, Mr. Travis Clyburn. Tell everyone hello, Travis.
Hello, you beautiful motherfuckers.
Woo! I
Yeah,
say that
Travis.
because a while ago we had someone on, and I did not tell them Travis was going to start talking.
I scared the shit out of him.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of him.
I'm just gonna have voice out of nowhere.
So he's our fact checker if you're an adult or a 12-year-old, like the person who just said that sentence. And if you got anything that you want to throw at him, he's happy to look it up. Or if you just want to hear a break from me talking, he's available. So I want to talk about, we kind of got into it a little bit with Boogiewhip. I mentioned already, I don't want to talk about the fucking emergency thing. If you have some really great thing you want to say about the national emergency, great. But it's like driving me insane that we've been dealing with this for so long. So I thought, let's talk about something else. We're talking a little bit about education with Boogiewhip and how he came up and being homeschooled. So getting into the most important election of our fucking lifetimes, the special election for LAUSD school board that's happening on March 10th. And yeah, so I've been getting mailers about this constantly. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But so what are your backgrounds on education? You guys go to public school? Did you go to one of those fancy Christian private schools or something like that?
I went to 5. I'm so sorry. I go on, please.
I
She
didn't
didn't
even
even
start
start.
talking.
I know, but she should have.
I'm
the
just like,
farthest
I'm
one
not
away.
ready for another cult backstory here.
I think you're.
Shit.
Don't be overly concerned with the format. It's you tell us how many high schools you went to, Spence.
That was rude of me. Please go on, Sasha.
I told you to come to this drunk.
No,
you son of a bitch.
And you're only mostly buzzed. Come on.
No. That was, honestly, it was rude of me, and I want to pretend for this big audience that we have out there that I'm a good person.
These 6 people aren't buying.
Please go on.
You didn't interrupt a woman. Don't worry.
Oh, it has nothing to do with a woman. I forgot about that.
Okay.
I was just interrupting and stuff. I would, if you.
Good. No, I'm glad.
Yeah, no, I would have apologized for penis or vagina sitting here and stuff.
Great.
Go on, girl.
This penis or vagina did not start talking, so I would love for you to start.
I'm not.
I went to a fucking school in Raleigh, North Carolina. Travis, did you have thoughts on that?
Oh, I was just going to say fact checking proves that's incorrect.
I'm a virgin.
Also incorrect.
He works.
Yeah,
okay.
no, he gets to it quick.
Yeah, this is so sad. I just like 2 years ago went back home, and my parents were like, "Oh, this is where I used to work," and I was like, "You worked in Durham, North Carolina?" And they're like, "Yeah."
The triangle.
Yeah, look at you. I'm from Raleigh, and they were like, "We worked in Durham," but I was like, "Why did you guys work in Durham? Why didn't we move to Durham?" And they said, "We got a house here so you guys could go to the good schools."
Yep.
Wasted. Completely. I work here. I mean, I live here. I mean, I'm here.
You're here.
And I think that's so sad. Apparently, like, I had a really good school district. My school was called Leesville Road High School, but like at every game they would yell Sleazeville at us because we had the sluttiest girls.
Right.
It was wasted. If I had known that my parents were sacrificing so much, I probably would have tried harder.
But Sasha, can you imagine if you'd gone to Durham schools, where you'd be? You'd be living.
I probably would, I don't think it was the projects at the time, but it wasn't the best. Now it's up and coming. But yeah, I probably would have worked harder.
Maybe. I don't know. I do know the triangle because I lived in North Carolina for like 7 years. And
nice.
when I was going to college, do that math. I lived there for a long time. And yeah, the school, it's, what are they, 43rd or 44th in the country as far as states go in education? Travis can look that up. They are down there, though, for sure. For certain, because I taught in North Carolina at a private school. And that private school, which was well worth it because it was for kids with learning disabilities and stuff like that. And it was like smaller class sizes. But it was $17,000 a year to go to that school. And it was so, if you could get that money, don't send your kids to North Carolina public schools.
No.
If you can, even if they're not disabled, make something up. Put a different shoe on them so they walk funny or some shit. But you send them to the weird school
Disable
so they
your
can
child.
get exactly right. Bust a kneecap. Do it. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
I hope they're all watching this fucking show. I'm kidding. No one's watching it. No, I know.
They can't get the computer on.
Did you say retard or tarded?
I said retarded.
Get it? You gotta get it right. You don't want to offend
No, I
anybody.
said retarded.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
No.
I know it is
I'm
a long
grammar
thing.
bigot.
Children with learning disability. It's wordy.
Yeah.
Travis just says, "I teach tards." I was like, that's intense.
Correction, you are a tard teacher. Different.
At least I know I can still host the Oscars. That's not done now. Oh my God, this
you're
fucking
fine.
show.
I'm fucked.
No, they're not letting
Also,
me do it. I hired all you fucks.
they rank 40th in schools.
40th. Yeah, so I was in the
Out of
neighborhood.
50 states,
Absolutely.
So you're killing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. So what's your background? How many schools do you go to? Where?
I mean, I went to 5, unless you count St. Mark's, also in high school. I went to a few schools. I went to a public school, private school, military school, a Christian school, which I'm pretty sure used the Bob Jones. Was it basically the science class was God did it? Yeah, we had some, I got kicked out of the school, but I could only come back to take the classes, or to take the tests for these little fucking books. And yeah, it was in a kiosk, I don't know.
Why'd you get kicked out of school, Spence?
I'm not a good person.
I feel like that's a longer topic, but you have a shorter instance that.
I mean, it wasn't just getting kicked out. I was also leaving. You know, just not going.
That sounds like someone gets fired and they're like, oh, I quit.
Well, you know, yeah, school, I don't know. That would be my #1 thing to tell the kids. Stay in one school. It's a good idea.
Moving around a lot, did that fuck you up?
Yeah, I got to be like the bully and the bullied like multiple times. Each time you switch schools, like you get into a new fucking group and shit.
Which one were you at military school?
That's Boonville, Missouri. That's the real name of the town. I thought it was a lie till we got there. And
Boonville?
Yeah, and it's not one of those good military schools. I mean, it's not there anymore. It's called Kemper. You're a terrible place. Yeah, no, it's a bully.
The dean loves
It's a bully
show.
factory. Yeah, I'm sure he does. No, they don't have the internet in Boonville. The small town, the town theater was a dude's living room with a big screen TV and a VC. I saw Jumanji like 5 years after it came out. Yeah, Boonville, Missouri, not a good place. Anyway,
Are you from Missouri?
No, I'm from Dallas.
Oh, word up. I didn't know that about you. I've known you a long time. We're both from Texas. That's
no,
crazy.
I've also gone, St. Mark's was my middle school. I went to Highland Park. The Christian school was out in Addison.
You said
I
St.
went
Mark's
to
Sporting
MMA
Register.
on Harlingen, which is a real military school. That's a legit one where they're trying to
You say Harlingen?
That's where.
Harlingen, Texas in the valley?
There's a valley in Texas?
That's what they call the very southern
I
west
have
part of
never heard it called that. That must be some.
The Rio Grande Valley, it's called. That's what all the Mexicans call it. My stepdad. That's how all right.
You know, I've crossed the border in a never mind. in the river, because why would you do it if you have the opportunity?
Somehow we got back to the fucking border. I knew it would happen.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. No. We're talking about education. Yeah, I went to some schools.
Thanks for getting us back on track.
Yeah,
by the way, guys, I have to actually make
I've been
a
writing
fact-checking
shit down.
correction.
This thing has fucked up my whole thoughts on what schooling is.
Thinking about doing this show?
Yes.
I try to fuck up people's thoughts. That's the whole idea.
You really did. I really don't like it. And we're going to have the first murder on the internet tonight.
Happy to have you. Do you want to switch seats with me, darling? Just for safety?
I won't be any safer over there. I like a quick death, you know.
You guys need to
for the
rescind
record,
a
when
fact-checking
Alex
effort.
was
Travis is trying to say something. Shut the fuck up. What do you want,
Yeah,
Travis?
if you could shut your mouth, that'd be great. Actually, North Carolina ranks 32nd. I found a more reliable list on Forbes. But interesting fact, District of Columbia ranks above Louisiana and New Mexico, even though it has half the funding of both. So, just a fun
That's
fact.
interesting. I wonder what that's about. It's probably proximity to people giving a shit. I don't know.
Everybody in the D.C. is a dick. So.
Did you say everyone who lives in D.C. is a dick?
Well, yeah.
All right. Hey, you considered pulling back on that. I like that you considered pulling back on it.
I thought about it, and I stand firm.
If this was Blue's Clues, I feel like he's like the chair. like the racist, politically incorrect, no tards today. I don't know why.
I think you just described Archie Bunker.
Oh, yeah,
just the chair that's racist.
Yeah, just the chair. You can have one racist chair.
So one of the things, let's pretend like we're qualified to talk about fixing this problem.
What's the problem? Can we define that?
Sure.
No. I just going to know because we got to start at the beginning of this whole education thing.
I feel like you laid it out.
No, I did not.
No?
I mean, first of all, we have to decide.
No, I just mean
do
your
we need to
dissertation is like
educate
a fine
everybody?
example of how education is.
You don't
that-
think we need to invest
I'm not
in
saying that we
children's
don't. I'm saying let's answer that question before we start saying.
So you want me to explicitly state what I think the problem with our school systems
I'm
are?
just curious.
I'm
Yes,
happy to.
exactly.
No,
That's
I'm
what I
happy
want
to.
to know.
I think,
I'm sure I agree on all of them, but it's hard to have.
No, I can
well
cleanly
enough
do
to
that
know.
I'll pitch my first solution of what I think is legitimately a good idea. So I think the number one thing is that we're training all kids to be students. That's what we're teaching them how to do, like in the realm of like building skills amongst our people as a society. Like the only thing we're universally making sure every student gets and becomes good at, and we hold them to the fucking fire if they don't get good grades on it, is being a student. That's it. They're not even really like, we're not even making like history buffs or like mathematicians or anything. We're just making people who are really good, not even really, at listening to information, trying to get it out on a fucking test or spit out something, and it's all about the next level. I remember when I was a kid, I did really well in standardized tests, which are super important in Texas. It's a massive thing for them down there. And but my grades were always shit because I didn't do my homework, I didn't pay attention in class, I was dicking around, I didn't care. And what they kept telling me was, you've got so much potential. Oh my God, you've got so much potential. You're not living up to your potential. It's like their favorite word. And it was like, if you don't get good grades, then you're not going to get into a good school. And if you don't get a good school, you're not going to get a good degree. And then you're not going to get a good job. And they try to convince you when you're like 11 that if you don't turn in your spelling words, your life is fucked forever because you're not good at school.
Yeah.
As if everyone needs to be good at school to be good at life.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I think we're doing wrong, is we're sending out a bunch of people who then leave high school with no skills and no interests. They don't even know what they want to do. They go to college because it's the next fucking step. They take on the debt because they're supposed to. And then they get to the end of that, and now they have 2 pieces of paper, and they still don't really know how to do anything, and they don't really know what they want to do. Obviously, that's not everybody, but that's a huge swath of the people that are graduating. My idea is more vocational shit younger. That's like my simple attitude. Like, I took shop in 7th grade. I didn't even know it was still a thing when I took it. I was so psyched I got to take. I was like, they still have wood shop? Fucking yeah, I thought that was just like Breakfast Club shit. I thought they shut that shit down with John Bender. Like, I'm trying to make a lamp. Like, I loved that class. It was one of the only classes I ever got A's in because it was like, I was learning a skill. I showed up every day like excited to do it. We don't teach civics anymore, so no one goes into public service. Like, we've stripped away all the shit that teaches people how to actually do things. Like, we could teach like 7th graders how to be plumbers. It's not hard to do, but no one knows how to do it or gives a shit about it. And then at the very least, they could go on to fix their own things or do their own things, but that doesn't happen. So that's my idea. I don't know if you guys are pro or anti that idea, or if you have anything of your own that you think would fix it.
You're still confused of what the problem is, right?
I don't. Yeah.
So there's extra funding.
No. I get
you
this.
got
I want
that.
to know what type of people. I agree with everything you've said. I don't.
Glad you're here.
I think, but I also, if you're changing the education system, I think all 3 of us agree it should be free.
Yeah, you mean up past high school?
Yeah, because I think I think everyone in a culture thinks other children should be educated in some way. So the decision is what we want to make.
Right.
And you're kind of just making cogs in a machine.
Right.
Not that that's wrong.
Right.
You might be cogs in the machine is what we want and stuff. I
don't think so.
Okay, but
No, I think
your solution would make cogs.
No, I think we're making cogs in the machine by making students. I think we have a limited physical labor force right now because we tell our students that doing physical labor isn't as valuable as being knowledgeable.
Okay, I agree with that.
So let's teach them that fucking laying brick is a valuable, important thing, and you're not like too smart for that because you have a high school and college education. Like, fucking construction is maybe one of the most understaffed jobs in the country that we need right now. They can't get enough people to do construction, and the only people they can get to do it are people who aren't citizens, and it just creates this vacuum where we don't have the fucking citizens to do the work that needs to be done. I'm not saying like, I just think everyone aspiring and telling every kid like that they could be an astronaut and the president and all that stuff. Why don't we just tell them that they could have a good job, making good money, taking care of their family, and if they end up being president, wow, you're special. Cool that you rose above it. I feel like we tell everyone they're super fucking special and they are gonna be the best in the world, and then they graduate high school, and they're like, how come I'm just an open micer at the 4th wall? And it's like, because that's fine. That's fine. You don't need to be the fucking president to feel good about your life. I think we set everybody else on that standard. If you don't go to Harvard, you're not gonna get a good job. That's crazy. I really thought that for the longest time. Like, I was like, I'm a piece of shit because I'm not good at school. Because I have ADD and dyslexia and I'm not good at this part of life. And then I got into other things and was like, oh, I can do some other shit. I have other skills.
Isn't that the culture though?
What do you mean?
I don't know if school has to teach you to be happy with your life.
Couldn't we though? Seems like
it could. I feel like culture, we have to change the culture before we change the education system.
But isn't the education system a huge part of the culture? Like, isn't that how we tell the kids?
This is the problem with what we're talking about right now. What do you fix first? And it's defining, first of all, what is fixed.
Right.
And there's a huge fucking problem. But let's assume whatever I think is correct, because that's
That's how we work here.
Well, no, it's just that's the only way any of us can come across.
Sure.
You have to find a way to make education desirable. And to do that, either the culture changes or you hit kids more or bribe them. I'm on the side of bribing.
Right.
I think hitting makes more cogs or bribing, because kids are stupid. That's what it comes down to. To fix the education system, we have to make them do something that they don't naturally want to do.
Right, school sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
And so the question is, how do we...
I guess another point I'm trying to make is I'm not anti-cog. I think we need more fucking cogs. I think this machine's breaking down because everyone wants to be the boss of the machine. It's like, no, we need people to move the weight and do the fucking work that the machine needs to do.
There's gonna be cogs. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
There's gonna be some people that are gonna be fucking lazy, that are gonna wanna work at McDonald's, that are gonna wanna lay the bricks. Those people are gonna come out, good belch. Those people are gonna come out.
God damn it, I held it in and everything.
And you did a great job. I'm glad you let it out when I could. But the thing is, I do agree. I was a horrible test taker. But I did my homework and I liked class.
You're like the opposite of me.
Yeah, I was the total opposite. And more vocational practices is exactly what should be instituted. But you can't change. I mean, lower income families are the ones that are popping out 6 kids and then, are just like not taking care of them, and then they're just thrown into the public school system. They don't give a shit, and then we're just wasting a lot of time and money. But
it becomes free babysitting is
what
they feel like.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, it's summer, fuck.
How are you going to change that? I mean, right now, the issue is like, where does the funding go? And it should, I believe, go to the public schools, not the charter schools, because those schools already have
100%.
Yeah. But if we can, get the classes smaller and make the requirements better for these public schools, that's where it can start. That's where we should be putting more of our focus.
Right.
And within that, we can get one of those, oh, captain, my captain fucking moments.
Right.
And get these kids to start paying attention. But we got to take the focus off the charter schools. And I do agree, though. You have to figure out. But your thing is, I think that's the second step. Once we get the funding in there, once we get more teachers on staff,
Right.
and the whole thing that started this was there was a surplus, and because of that surplus, they want to hold on to it in case something bad happens, and kind of like how my father gave me $400 for bills, and I'm a Lyft driver, so public schools. I needed it for car repairs, so I didn't want to use it for bills, but it's like. They need to give it to the public school system, and right now that their person is in the lead, correct, Travis? But I totally agree with you. But that's where we need to start. We got to start at the foundation. We got to make sure.
Could you repeat that? I'm going to be real honest. I wasn't listening.
I love you, buddy. I'm glad you're doing it.
How many beers have you drank?
None, sadly.
Yeah, no excuse.
Yeah, I'm it's just all me.
Is there a beer boy here?
Beer boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I would
beer
love to have
boy.
that. If we got anybody who could bring Spence a beer, that would be tremendous.
Where's the warm-up
I know he
biker?
needs another one. The what?
Where's your warm-up stand-up guy?
Oh, Kane, he's brown. But it's okay. We have our wonderful, trying not to be seen on camera, talented writer, Michael Rogelio.
Yeah.
Sasha likes
I didn't
him.
even really need one. I just wanted to say that out loud for the hilarity of it.
You didn't even really... Well, it went over on Mr. Rogelio, so... oh, my goodness. Did we get a hold of those little mailers that I was trying to get on stage earlier? Did we get that sorted out? No?
Yeah, I can bring it to you here.
Great how you did
What's that, Trav?
I've got them here in the back. I'll bring them out in 1 second.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Let's bring those out and take a look at those. So we have this election coming up on March 5th. I get all my voting stuff mailed to my house, and it tells me everything I got to do. And
Oh, nice. You have a house?
I know, right? I'm fucking crushing it.
Those are the exact words that were going.
Right? I was like, how do you get
But
one
I'm
of
a
those?
respectful person, so I didn't say them out loud.
Sorry, I'm the wild card here.
I got big boy pants on tonight. and
We
everything.
got a
Thanks,
same.
Trav. Wonderful. Let's take a look at these fucking things. Kyle, if you can play with the single on me as I show these to everybody. So here's the thing. We're having this, thank you, we're having this fucking special election for school board. And there's about as many people running as there are Democrats for president right now. And I have no idea who any of them are or what any of them mean, but I got all of it. Look at this. Look at these. This is how much mail I've gotten just in the last like week and a half on this. That's not a live feed of us anymore up there. That's okay. Is it on the single of me, Kyle? Are you seeing all these? So I've gotten all of this in the mail, and I don't know who any of these people are, and I try to vote every time, but I don't have any children, so it's hard to give a fuck about this. But I care about it on a broad level, but I don't know which one of these people is going to help with this. So let's take a look at some of these people. This is the first one I got. This is Jackie Goldberg.
That bitch.
Oh, well, Spence, it's the first one. I'm half a second in. See if you like her. I feel like with everything that's going on in this poster, she's trying to get like the Bernie Sanders vote. There's a few things going on. She got the Jewish last name. She's wearing his glasses. She's not super concerned with her hair, which I'm fine with. I think that's a good sign of a good politician. They got more important shit to worry about. She uses the word progressive icon. So I have to say, I got more out of this crazy-looking lunch lady than I got out of most of the other pieces of information. But then on the back, this is what's great. And this I want to say too, this ad was not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate. A lot of these fucking mailers are not even made by the people who are running. They're just made by fans of theirs that threw together shit.
Well, that's great. They don't have any money, but she's terrifying. She looks like Nurse Ratched.
She does look scary, but I bet she's nice. That's my guess. I don't know. That's where we're at with
Look,
her.
I feel bad for calling her a bitch. Like, she's a great lover, but she can be kind of a cunt.
Do you know her?
She's generous.
She is generous.
That's why she's a...
She's just like picking out the personality traits. She's a Gemini. She likes long walks.
Well, and to be
All right,
fair...
look, Jackie, come back to me. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I did not read any of these. I solely went off of pictures because I went to art school. So I'm only concerned about graphic design.
Sure.
She does have this is another one of her posing with
Jackie.
some different people, and then she has an angry picture of Trump here. Trump bad, Jackie Goldberg good. So that's how we feel at Jackie Goldberg. This chick's everywhere. Graciela Ortiz. I do like her stuff, but I want to get quickly to the thing I got from her that I didn't like, which again, this is not from her, it's from her fans that made up a mailer to send out on her. So this is how it shows up first. It doesn't have her name on this side. LAUSD School Board, Democratic Choice. So there, and this is the official logo for like the organization to try to get everyone to fucking vote on this thing that no one even knows is happening. So this is the official group trying to get everyone to vote. They don't care who for. And then this whole thing is like, this is the official Democratic Choice. On the back here is a fake ballot with everyone else's name whited out as if they don't exist.
They did the work for you.
And then Graciela Grace Ortiz is over here. They show you to bubble hers in. Make sure you don't bubble in any of these other choices that aren't people. And then it says, take this sample ballot to your polling place for reference. This is crazy to me because isn't this borderline like having a, isn't it against the law to campaign at a polling place? Doesn't this count? You can't take campaign shit, right? Is that a law?
I don't know how they know what number it is.
She's gonna be fourth, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think I got the ballot. I think that may be where she is, but
I don't know.
This seems like horse shit to me. I don't like you trying to tell me already what I'm supposed to do.
I love being told what to do, so I'm just going to take that.
I don't like her. After I saw those blackface pictures of her, fuck that bitch. She's not going on. She's not going to teach my kids.
Why are you everyone's racist drunk dad right now? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh my
You're
God.
just accusing them of nothing.
I'd have never expected you to come here and throw out baseless, shocking claims, Spence.
First she's a bitch, and then she's your ex-girlfriend, and then she's in blackface.
We got Anna Kubas here.
No.
We know a lot about her. It's probably Spence's mom. Keep going. Allison looks like she listens well. I'm a fan of her. She's got a good, solid listening shot here.
What do you got to say about her?
Actually,
Yeah.
random update
She's
on
great.
Spence's comment.
What's that, Trav?
Random update on Spence's comment. All of them have done blackface. Ironic.
These are very specific truth checking.
This is the last one. This is my favorite because I don't know if you've ever seen. Do you guys watch Parks and Rec at all? There's this great episode where they make Leslie make her own campaigns ad, and it gets to the end, and they're like, "Great, except you literally didn't mention you were running for city council the whole ad." This is my favorite one. So this right here says at the bottom, "School employees, teachers, and leaders you trust support Heather Reppening for the LAUSD Parent for School Board," right? Does anyone want to guess which one of these people is Heather? Anybody? Got anything? You want to guess which?
Is there a white
Heather
one?
Reppening.
The dude in the top right corner.
Yeah, the Asian man. Probably him, right? That's probably Heather right there. It's a very progressive city we live in. Any other final guesses? Okay, here's the answer. Fucking none of them. Heather is not one of these people. It's so confusing. It's so confusing. Flip to the back. They're all here again. She is still not any of these people. She is this lady at the top shaking hands with this guy. I'm not calling these people I trust when I have no idea who they are. But I guess I don't do enough reading. That's probably what this is. There's a lot of text.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they're all just, who would know?
Yeah.
They're just, this is Kevin who lives next door to her. This is the guy who walks her dog. Oh my goodness.
I wish there was some wordplay, like there's a reppening coming, you know? That's what I would like. I love a good pun, you know? That's what would get me in the polls.
Is this let's see. I went through all of these, and I don't think a single one of these was paid for or created by the people who were running. And so I'm not going to vote.
What?
Isn't that what they have to do that, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't it all like, yeah, we're not part of you, but...
I don't think so.
Kind of like the Russian Trump. They're like, we're not helping you. I'm Russia right now. I do a very bad Russian accent.
No, that was pretty
good.
But,
yeah, thank you. Oh, I think that was in France. Did you get my point? Don't they have to?
Just go, oh. That was your
And then that went France.
Oh my God. No, Griffith was a French name.
I know Russians are white, but that was pretty racist.
I feel like we solved a lot of shit tonight, so I feel good about our progress.
We learned a lot about your relationship with women.
Yeah.
Every time he's on the stage.
You said I could plug my kindergarten that I teach. Come to my house, children.
Solid plug.
Thank you.
Before we do you have any plugs, either of you, that you want to get out? Anything you're doing that you want people to see?
I just told you my molesting school children.
Sure.
Kids. That's all I have to plug. Were you not just fucking listening? Drop your kids off at my house. I'll touch you.
Why are you angry about touching kids? You're like the first pedophile that's like,
I don't want to touch them. I was part of the same cult, and that's what we have to do.
I know, when you asked about the cult, I was like, get to the fucking. I
was trying to be sensitive.
I'm sorry, but when you hear cult, you just think about fucking. You
totally. No, that's absolutely true. I think that's where we are.
And it was terrible, because when you got there, I was like, oh, this isn't funny. You know?
I like how he roasted my jokes, and then you roasted the interview I did with him. We have to do a separate segment where someone comes out and gives me shit about this panel discussion.
I just want to sit in that corner eating chips the whole time, not talking, and then just like occasionally come out and be like, I didn't like that, and then just go back to my corner.
We're gonna make you a regular contributor to the show in that capacity.
Thank you so much.
Are we ready to move on with our comments section? Are we there? Are we doing it? Yes. All right, guys.
Part of the show.
So the time has come. We're going to take a look at our wonderful YouTube comments and invite one of our talented staff writers up to read them. Miss Hannah Canetti, everyone. Hannah Canetti!
Yeah!
Grab that mic over there on your way up. Yeah, let her hear it. She's still walking up. There's like 6 people here. Fucking applaud. Thank you so much. Oh, no. There you go. Almost.
Oh, wait.
Don't pull the lights down.
So chivalrous.
I know, right? Look at that.
Can I?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm into it.
Fuck up on a piece of shit.
Hannah, get everybody with our YouTube comments.
All right. Dimes McNichols says, I suspect Boogiewhip only had copies of Taxi Driver and Purple Rain in the Christian cult video library.
Ooh, what a wordsmith.
That was craftily written. I like it. Tell Dimes I said what's up.
Good job, Dimes. Mike Hunt said, Boogiewhip looks like what happens When Muppets do heroin.
When Muppets do heroin, is what you said?
Yeah.
Who said that one?
Mike Hunt.
It's a good name.
Chickpea says Spence looks like he's going to end the segment by rowing us across the river Styx.
That's good. No one has pointed out that my face is creepy looking before. Kudos, person.
Breaking new bounds.
Okay, Michael Regilio.
Oh no.
Oh, I hate that motherfucker.
I know.
Says Spence can say, I don't even want to, okay,
Say
can
it.
say
Read
retarded because no one listens to him.
Oh, Michael Regilio's retarded.
Yes, far. I don't know how to say this.
I'm a big fan of the name Ralph Nader Ginsburg. I think
that's this one.
oh, that one? Yusuf Air.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I said. Sasha is going to spend 2 years and thousands of dollars getting this appearance to not show up when you Google her.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's an insult to everyone else here. Fuck you.
I'll take it. It's probably true.
Yeah.
Ralph Nader.
I'm sorry, keep watching.
Okay, sorry. Ralph Nader Ginsburg said Spence looks like he makes the heroin boogie whoop took Channing what? Oh, sorry, these are two different, these are, okay.
That's good though. I like that combination though.
Channing Tatum said Sasha looks like sugar baby who just asks for teeth whitening strips. That's not from me.
Oh, no.
That's from Channing Tatum.
We know you're not that ridiculous name you just said, right? Or
Yeah, no, that's not my YouTube channel. Okay. Velociraptor says.
you could feel free to read these before you come up here. If it's I don't want to put any pressure on
And you don't have to apologize after everyone because we know that you didn't write them.
Sorry, I totally talked. Oh God, okay. Rob thought he had dyslexia, but now believes he has disorder deficit attention.
Because they switched the words around. I like it.
That's mean. Peanut Butter and Jello Shot said Spence isn't confused about the education issue. He just forgot how blinking works.
I think that probably would have killed
Look,
him.
I draw the line at that. Don't talk about my blinking problem.
All right.
That's where you draw the line.
That is.
Sandy Hook says.
You're my hero and better not be making fun of me.
It's my new drag name.
Oh, in the show. That was brilliant.
Now I don't want to be on Google either. The fact that Spence doesn't have a unibrow disprove evolution. That's it. Good job.
Oh my God! Hey, Canadian with the comments, everybody.
Hey guys,
I fucking love that.
Hey guys, there were a few YouTube
Good job,
comments that were glaringly overlooked.
What'd you say there, Trev?
There's a few YouTube comments. One in particular I feel was glaringly overlooked from Bill Burr Baggins. He said, Boogiewhip looks like he appears with a puff of smoke at all times at his job and then leaves by turning into a bunch of crows. And that's my favorite comment of the night.
I was like half in on the first half, and then fucking turn into crow steaks. The funniest thing I've
The crows gets me real hard. It was hilarious.
Oh my God! Yeah, let's call that there. That's amazing. I want to say thank you so much to my guests, Boogiewhip, Sasha Boggs, Spence Griffith for being here. Let's give a round of applause for all of our guests one more time. We got a great episode for you guys next week. It's going to be fucking awesome. We got Richie Rosales is going to be here. We got a wonderful new segment we're doing with Alex Kane. And my man, the original Dave Jackson's also going to be here. It's going to be fucking blast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good night, or more than likely, good morning. Woo! All right.
Can I pee now? Oh, yeah. I've been holding a pee in for 5 weeks.
Get it.
I hope this is the...
Canetti, come get your beer. All right.